Wednesday founding anniversary of the Federation of Free Farmers or FFF with the theme Pagsulong para sa malayang magsasaka, malagong ekonomiya at maginhawang buhay sa bawat Pilipino at the National Meat Inspection Service or NMIS in Visayas Avenue, Quezon City. The day-long celebration looks back on the Federation's past struggles and initiatives, honoring its commitment to Filipino farmers and the country as a whole. Founded in 1953, the FFF is an organization by farmers and for farmers that continues to liberate Filipino farmers from social, political, economic, moral, and cultural oppression, among others. In his speech, the president said that the FFF's pursuit of empowering small farmers and rural workers across the nation was believed to be noble by his late father, former President Ferdinand E. Marcos Sr., in which he inherited. President Marcos encouraged the FFF to keep the legacy alive of founding members to uplift the lives of every rural worker. Let us listen to the speech of Philippine President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr.
It is with great pleasure that I join you as we commemorate the 70th founding anniversary of the Federation of Free Farmers. We celebrate today 7 fruitful decades of your long-standing cooperation and partnership with government in sustaining development in the areas of agri-fisheries, agrarian reform, and agricultural cooperatives, amongst others. Through your programs and initiatives, you have effectively elevated and empowered the voices of our small farmers, our fishers, and rural workers across the nation. This noble pursuit is the very essence of what my father, President Ferdinand Marcos Sr., strongly believed in, and a belief that I have certainly inherited. This is why it is worth recalling how we championed the cause of the Federation of Free Farmers and expressed this unwavering support for this organization. It was because you shared a common goal of advancing social reform and rural development in our country that this partnership was strengthened. Indeed, this is the kind of uplifting synergy that we in government anticipate from our private sector partners, who ardently champion social justice and actively contribute to our nation's socio-economic advancement. So I urge all the members of the FFF to keep up the legacy of the founding members, keep it alive, stay true to the mission of uplifting all the lives of every Filipino rural worker. In line with that collective mission, I wish to reaffirm one of the top priorities of this administration, which is the enhancement of our agricultural connectivity, the guarantee of our food supply, the affordability of our food supply, and our lessening dependence on importation. This includes pursuing policies that will support and protect the overall welfare of our farmers, our fishers, our manufacturers, and the consuming public. This administration is steering the growth of our fisheries and farming industries with urgency. With a substantial budget of 85.88 billion pesos for 2023 and a proposed budget of 92.4 billion pesos for 2024, I am optimistic that we can propel the modernization of our agri-fisheries sector. Among the many endeavors that we are pursuing is the strengthening of the various associations and cooperatives so that they can provide business and investment opportunities to their beneficiaries. This will definitely elevate the standard of living, improve the lives of the farmers and our fishers and that of their families. Let me also mention that as of 2023, the Department of Agriculture has allocated 4.73 billion pesos as an investment for the large-scale agriculture and fishery mechanization and modernization. You have my assurance that the government is striving to implement efficient mechanization strategies to reduce post-harvest losses and to ensure the optimal yield at an affordable cost. Another priority is to increase the exportation of our agricultural products, which has been an essential driver in the competitiveness of our economy. All of these plans, these programs, prioritizations are now being undertaken because of your constant cooperation with the government and your genuine service towards our farmers and our local communities. You have solidified your presence over the past 7 decades, and I eagerly anticipate an even deeper collaboration given our shared commitment. I thus enjoy all the men and women of FFF to continuously take part in supporting and empowering our farmers and fisherfolk. Malaki pong trabaho ang ating hinaharap dahil kailangan po nating ayusin ang buong sistema ng agrikultura na napabayaan na matagal na. Mula pa siguro noong nagsimula ang agricultural reform, noong panahon pa ng aking ama. Ngayon ay maraming ng pagbabago. Nag-iba na ang mundo, nakailang ikot na ang mundo. Kaya kailangan po tayo naman ay kailangan tignan natin kung ano ang mga pangangailangan hindi ng ating mga magsasaka, ng ating mangingisda upang maging mas maganda ang kanilang buhay. Dahil ang madalas nating marinig ay sinasabi natin kailangan nating itaas ang ating mga yield, kailangan nating itaas ang ating harvest at ang productivity natin. Totoo yan. Totoo po yan. Kailangan po nating gawin yan. Ngunit wag po nating kakalimutan na dapat naman ay ang hanap buhay ng ating mga magsasaka at ang ating mga mangingisda ay maalagaan at maipaganda dahil yan po ang hangarin nating lahat para sa ating mga magsasaka at sa ating mga mangingisda. Kaya po, ito po ay napakalaking trabaho. Kaya kailangan po natin, hindi kaya ng pamahalaan na nag-iisa na gawin lahat ito. Kaya kailangan po natin ang tulong ninyo, kailangan namin ang sipag ninyo, kailangan namin ang advice ninyo. Dahil kayo ang nakaharap sa mga problema ng agrikultura sa dinadaanan natin ngayon. Kaya po ay asahan po ninyo ang ating pamahalaan, ang inyong gobyerno ay nandito po upang gawin ang lahat, upang tulungan ang ating mga magsasaka na makapag-produce ng magandang ani, makapangisda ng sapat para sa ating mga kababayan at may pagbili naman ito sa presyo na abot kaya ng ating mga mamamayan. At kasabay din dyan, kailangan naman may magandang hanap buhay ang ating mga magsasaka at ang ating mga fisherfolk. And that's why I look forward to your endeavors that will contribute to our shared vision of Bagong Pilipinas and help us march towards achieving a food and nutrition-secure Philippines. Once again, happy 70th founding anniversary. Maraming salamat sa inyong pakikiisa at serbisyo. Mabuhay ang FFF, mabuhay ang mga magsasaka at mangingisdang Pilipino.
Philippine President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr.
Dateline Malacañang.
Philippine President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. on Tuesday received the credentials of Czech Republic Ambassador to the Philippines, Karel H. in Malacañang Palace. Ambassador H said that it is organizing visits to the country involving high-ranking government officials and business delegation for possible partnerships on defense, agriculture, and other areas. The Czech ambassador said that the Minister of Agriculture, accompanied by his business delegation, will be visiting the country later on in the year, adding that companies interested in doing business and investing in the Philippines will be carefully selected. With its role in past regional conflicts in Europe, Ambassador H also invited the president to visit the Czech Republic to showcase its finest war instruments, arms, and ammunition in the world. President Marcos acknowledged that the Philippines is facing a thorny regional problem, but told the Czech envoy that his government is prioritizing agriculture along with other areas to transform the Philippine economy. Czech Republic Prime Minister Peter Fiala arrived in the Philippines for an official visit in April this year. The Philippines and Czech Republic established their formal diplomatic relations on October 5, 1973. In terms of trade, Czech Republic ranked as the Philippines' 39th trading partner, 28th export market, and 47th import supplier last year, with total bilateral trade amounting to $303.21 or $303.21 million. As of December last year, there are an estimated 4,864 Filipinos in the Czech Republic, with the majority working in the processing industry, automotive industry, repairs of appliances, manufacturing, IT, communications, real estate, health, wellness, and household service.
Dateline Malacañang.
Philippine President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. witnessed the signing of the 2024 to 2028 United Nations Sustainable Development Cooperation Framework, or UNSDCF, in a ceremony at the President's Hall of Malacañang Palace in Manila, coinciding with the United Nations Day. The UNSDCF was signed by Department of Foreign Affairs or DFA Secretary Enrique Manalo, Socio-Economic Planning Secretary and National Economic and Development Authority NEDA Director General Arsenio Balisacan, and UN Resident Coordinator in the Philippines Gustavo Gonzalez. The UNSDCF is a collaborative strategic planning framework for cooperation between the Philippines and the UN development system in support of the national development priorities and the accomplishment of the 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development. In his keynote speech, the President said the UNSDCF is a document that deepens, expands, and elevates the partnership between the Philippines and the UN. President Marcos said that he looks forward to engagements on key issues that will benefit the future of the country, including food security, health, education, climate action, decent work, digital transformation, and disaster risk reduction. Let us listen to the speech of Philippine President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr.
Let me begin by commending the DFA NEDA and most of all, the UN Resident Coordinator's Office for crafting the new UN Sustainable Development Cooperation Framework that deepens, expands, and elevates the partnership between the Philippines and the United Nations. As a founding member of the United Nations, the Philippines strongly supports the UN as a beacon for multilateral approaches for making lasting peace and progress a reality for all peoples, for all nations. At the UN General Assembly last year, I underscored that no nation stands alone. The achievement of our national ambition requires a global environment that creates conditions that allows nations to thrive and to navigate the challenges of the 21st century. Beyond building better from the pandemic and for resilient communities, the world needs a transformative agenda to bridge divides, address inequalities, and foster growth that carries everyone forward. Especially in this complex global environment, we certainly need the United Nations to thrive in its important work. including at the country level. Here in the Philippines, 17 UN entities serve that task, as with the entire UN development system across the world. Our new cooperation framework covers the period of 2024 to 2028, which coincides the timeline of this administration, as it is oriented to support Philippine government policies and priorities embodied in the 8-point socio-economic agenda, the Philippine Development Plan, and Ambisyon Natin. It enjoins UN agencies in the government's determined pursuit of the highest aspirations of our people. We look forward to vigorous engagements on key issues that bear on the future of our communities, including food security, health, education, climate action, decent work, digital transformation, and disaster risk reduction. We invite new approaches to help promote innovation driven by climate smart and sustainable growth at all levels. We also are fostering access to green financing, lasting peace, and better public services across the archipelago. With the UN delivering as one fully cognizant of the Philippine needs and context, and the voices of its partners, including civil society, our partnership can be a catalyst for the accomplishment of our shared goals in the 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development. As the UN SDCF is among the first of its kind under the reformed UN development system, our collaboration will showcase the best and finest the UN development system can offer the world with programs that provide solutions and have far-reaching impact and provide good models of co-ownership, transparency, and accountability. The UN SDCF brings with it not only the legacies of the Philippines' constructive and long-standing engagement with the United Nations. It also signifies our role in shaping more inclusive and effective multilateral institutions that embrace and bring tangible results to us all. The UNSDCF also acknowledges how the Philippines' best practices and experience, which we have established over decades, can help the achievement of the SDG agenda elsewhere through South-South cooperation platforms. The UN recognizes that peace-building milestones in the Bangsamoro Autonomous Region in Muslim Mindanao offer valuable insights for peacemaking across the world. Our advocacies in the Indo-Pacific and in the global arena for the rule of law and the peaceful settlement of disputes also provide opportunities for a more substantive engagement with the United Nations. These novel aspects of the UNSDCF show how our partnership has evolved. It is now infused with a more mature and outward-looking synergy of efforts, serving the interests of both the Philippines and the United Nations as we work for a safer and more prosperous world. It is truly fitting that we embark on this new journey together as we celebrate the founding of the United Nations 78 years ago. This daunting and profound enterprise of making our collaboration deliver meaningful change and transformation on the ground lies before us. Again, I extend my warmest congratulations to the Department of Foreign Affairs, to NEDA, the UN country team, of course, for an excellent job. I look forward to hearing many more success stories of the Philippines' UN partnership under this cooperation framework.
Philippine President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr.
Dateline Malacañang.
Malacañang on Tuesday said that President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. will confer the presidential citation and grant cash incentives to 33 Filipino athletes who accumulated medals in the 2023 Asian Games. In a statement, Presidential Communications Officer PCO Secretary Cheloy Garafil said the awarding ceremony, dubbed Gabi ng Parangal at Pasasalamat para sa Bayaning Atletang Pilipino, or in English, a night to honor and congratulate the Filipino athlete heroes, will be held Wednesday at the Rizal Memorial Coliseum in the city of Manila. Garafil said the event is a special by the president to honor, or a special event by the president to honor the sacrifices and celebrate the triumphs of our modern day heroes who bring pride, honor, and joy to our fellow Filipinos. The PCO secretary said that aside from the 19.1 million pesos worth of cash incentives from the Philippine Sports Commission, or PSC, an additional cash reward amounting to 22.8 million pesos will be granted to the medalists courtesy of the Office of the President, or OP. Hosted by the OP in collaboration with the PCO, the event will also feature students from various schools, colleges, and universities in Metro Manila who will participate in the musical celebration with performances by the Concierto sa Palacio artists and musicians. The Philippines garnered 4 gold medals, 2 silvers, and 12 bronzes, finishing 17th during the 2-week continental tilt in Hangzhou, China. This was the Philippines' highest ranking since it placed 14th overall in 1994 in Hiroshima, Japan.
Dateline Malacañang.
Philippines Department of Foreign Affairs, or DFA, said that the country has donated $30,000 or approximately 1.7 million pesos to help fund the various technical cooperation training conducted by the International Maritime Organization, or IMO. Philippine Permanent Representative to the IMO, Teodoro Locsin Jr., presented a donation to Secretary General Kitak Lim at the IMO headquarters in London in October 20th. The DFA said that the assistance for intended beneficiaries of the training will be personnel from relevant government agencies of the Philippines, as well as government personnel from other interested countries. The donation was coursed through Integrated Technical Cooperation Program, or ITCP, of IMO Technical Cooperation Committee, TCC, and came weeks after the Philippines announced its bid for a seat in the IMO Council. During a diplomatic reception for the country's candidature to the IMO Council earlier this month, Transportation Secretary Jaime Bautista said a seat at the Council is rooted at being the Philippines' preferred choice of seafarers in the global crew manning market, as well as being the 5th largest shipbuilding nation. Secretary Bautista added that the Philippines can sustain various technical cooperation projects and allow the country to implement state administration responsibilities.
Dateline Malacañang.
The Philippine Department of Migrant Workers, or DMW, reported that a total of 120 Filipino workers who requested the Philippine government for repatriation from Israel are being processed by the agency. In a radio interview, DMW officer in charge, Undersecretary Hans Leo Kakdak, said they have been calling the repatriates numerous times to make sure that they really want to go home. The 4th batch of repatriates is expected to leave Israel by Thursday. He said they also make sure that the overseas Filipino workers, or OFWs, amicably settled with their employers and will not abandon their jobs, which would make it possible for them to return once the situation normalizes. On Monday afternoon, the 3rd batch of repatriates from Israel, composed of 25 OFWs and an infant, arrived at the Ninoy Aquino International Airport, Terminal 3. To date, Kakdak said there are 137 Filipinos still in Gaza. As tension between Israel and Lebanon also rises, Kakdak assured that the DMW and the Philippine Embassy in Beirut are coordinating with the Filipino community. Among the agencies helping in the repatriation are the Department of Foreign Affairs, Department of Health, Technical Education and Skills Development Authority, Manila International Airport Authority, and the Bureau of Immigration. Aside from financial assistance, the OFW is also receiving preliminary physical checkup and psychosocial counseling, livelihood and skills training, scholarship for their children, and reintegration assistance, among others.
Dateline Malacañang.
The Philippine Department of Foreign Affairs, or DFA, through the Philippine Embassy in Moscow, Russian Federation, facilitated the repatriation of an undocumented Filipino in distress. The 58-year-old Filipina previously worked as a household service worker in Moscow but eventually lost her job due to her illness. She was diagnosed with cavity pulmonary aspergillosis. Airfare expenses were paid for and documents and clearances were arranged by the Philippine Embassy in Moscow. The overseas worker arrived in the Philippines and was reunited with her family.
Dateline Malacañang.
The Philippine Department of Foreign Affairs, or DFA, said Hass avocados from the Philippines are now available in South Korea, reflecting the increasing trade between the two countries. The fresh Philippine avocados were introduced during a launch at the Home Plaza Gangsu branch last October 19, which was hailed by Philippine Ambassador to Korea Maria Teresa Dizon de Vega as a symbol of the strong trade relationship between the Philippines and Korea in agricultural exports. Home Plaza is one of the largest retail hypermarket chain stores in South Korea with around 140 branches all over the country. The event was organized by Dole Korea, led by its Chief Executive Officer Jack Kim, in cooperation with Agriculture Attaché Maria Alilia Maghirang of the Philippine Agriculture Office in Seoul. The first batch of fresh Hass avocados to South Korea, valued at $48,433 was ferried from Davao City. The Philippines, through the Department of Agriculture Bureau of Plant Industry, or DABPI, officially expressed its intent to export fresh Hass avocado to Korea in September 2009, following a request from Dole, Philippines. South Korea's Department of Animal and Plant Quarantine Agency, or APQA, and DABPI reached an agreement to export the products on June 19, 2023, which came into effect on September 8, 2023. The fresh Hass avocado exports from the Philippines are sourced from the orchards and packing houses of Dole Philippines in Davao, Bukidnon, and South Cotabato.
Dateline Malacañang.
The Philippine government will earmark around 22.98 billion pesos for the improvement of the country's health facilities and services in 2004, according to the Philippine Department of Budget and Management, or DBM. In a statement, the DBM said the budget is included in the proposed 2024 National Expenditure Program, or NEP, for the Department of Health, or DOH's Health Facilities Enhancement Program, or HFEP. The DBM said the HFEP aims to prioritize the universal healthcare sites and geographically isolated and disadvantaged areas. It said the program is also focused on upgrading essential facilities for robust coronavirus disease 2019 response measures and facilitating ongoing project construction and equipment. DBM Secretary Amena Pangandaman said the proposed budget would help improve nationwide healthcare standards in light of the recent issues hounding the healthcare system. The DOH implemented the HFEP with the main goal of improving the delivery of basic essentials as well as specialized health services. The project envisions revitalization of primary healthcare facilities and the regionalization of the various levels of hospitals to decongest and referral hospitals. In his 2024 budget message, President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. emphasized the importance of fortifying the nation's health infrastructure to sustain his administration's efforts in strengthening government healthcare services to protect Filipinos from future health crises. President Marcos said the government could provide high-quality care and effective response to any future health emergencies by investing in state-of-the-art medical facilities, expanding healthcare access, and deploying healthcare professionals.
Dateline Malacañang.
For Dateline Malacañang, Philippine Department of National Defense or DND Secretary Gilberto Teodoro Jr. said it is unlikely for China to attack and take over the country's territories in the West Philippine Sea or WPS. Teodoro said Manila has the right and obligation to defend the country's sovereignty and territorial jurisdiction should this happen under the Constitution. To contain China's illegal activities in the WPS, Teodoro reiterated the need to continue building up the Armed Forces of the Philippines or AFP for it to have a credible defense posture and continue coordinating with the country's allies and partners. The defense chief also said he sees more nations having security engagements with the Philippines following the collision incident in the WPS that damaged two resupply mission for the detachment aboard the BRP Sierra Madre in Ayungin Shoal. He gave this response when asked whether the incident will expedite the Philippines' plans to have joint patrols with its allies in the WPS. Teodoro, however, declined to disclose details on the matter. On October 22, Chinese Coast Guard and maritime militia vessels tried to prevent anew the Philippine routine resupply to BRP Sierra Madre LS-57 in Ayungin Shoal, deliberately bumping supply boat Unaiza May 2 and its escort BRP Cabra MRRV 4409. The other supply boat Unaiza May 1 completed the delivery to the troops aboard BRP Sierra Madre. Support from several nations poured in for the Philippines while condemnation reigned on China following the incident. Both the Philippines and China filed diplomatic protests over the incident.
Dateline Malacañang.
That is all for today's Dateline Malacañang for Radyo Pilipinas World Service. This has been Bea Gaza.
From the Presidential Palace, Manila, Dateline Malacañang.